Hi guys, I think I'm live now. If you can see me, if you can hear me, please do let me know in the chat. We'll be looking at algebra today. So anybody who wants to participate, please go to kraku.in/live. Good evening, Snigdha. How are you? Good evening, Karan. Good evening, Mr. Kaur. Okay, cool. I'll start the session at 8 o'clock. We'll be answering 11 questions. 11 questions in algebra. I would say the question levels of this will be medium to hard. Unfortunately, I didn't want to give any very easy questions. I think there were one or two easy questions, but I think medium questions will be good for you as CAT is coming up. If you are prepared for slightly tougher questions, you will be better prepared. You will also feel more confident even if a slightly tough question comes in the examination. Many people ask me for more time when they are solving these questions, but I gave only 2.5 minutes per question because I wanted to cover more questions in this 1 hour. So anybody who wants to take part in the test, please go to kraku.in/live. Yeah, many guys are asking me my slot number. I don't want to reveal my slot for multiple reasons, but the most important reason is this because I think it is just going to give unnecessary anxiety to people who are in the same slot. We have made a video to explain why you should not be worried at all. You can look at it. Saili has recorded it today. It makes absolutely no sense. If you really think that one person can really affect the scaling in whatever way, I think you are clearly mistaken. You can go through the formula for the scaling and you will figure it out that it makes no sense. I also understand that many of these people who are very anxious about my slot, I think it is just the anxiety of the examination which is taking over, where many people are worried the examination is just like say 3 weeks, less than 3 weeks. So they are worried. I understand that completely. I can totally get it. But you also have to realize it. You have to realize that being obsessed about my slot is actually not helpful for you. Your mind at this point of time should be focused only on how you can improve your performance on the day of the examination. That is what should take up most of your mental space. Your mental space should not be about whether I'm in slot 1 or slot 2 or slot 3. It makes no sense. It is absolutely immaterial and it won't affect the scaling in whatever way. I know that I have done enough research. Anybody who can think about it will figure it out that it makes no difference. So I would recommend you to just focus on your examination. It is also very understandable, especially people who are, I think, taking the examination for the first time or the second time, maybe slightly inexperienced. I think it is possible that they are not realizing or recognizing that it is just their anxiety which is speaking. But you have to realize that it is anxiety and you have to address it, that this is happening where I'm being distracted or I'm being obsessed about certain things which are not really needed or not really useful for my preparation. Think about it, and I would recommend you to focus mostly on your examination. These 18 days are very important. These 18 days are important for you also to get into the right mental space. Being in the right mental space is very important for you to do well in the examination. Because if you're in the right mental space where you're not very worried, where you're not very anxious, I think that will help you perform better. Even if that helps you score, say, 2 or 3 questions more, that will be very, very useful, especially in a section like, say, DLR. If you're less anxious, if you're less distracted, if you're in a good mental space, you will perform definitely better. You might get one entire set correct just because you're in a better mind space. So right now, from now till the examination, focus mostly on your mental health. Focus on trying to ensure that you're in the best frame of mind possible. Avoid any distractions, avoid any unnecessary negative thoughts. Just focus on doing well. That is what I would tell you. But other than that, I can't really say much. Okay, guys, please go to kraku.in/live. We'll be starting the session. The first question will be on your screen now. Anjali is asking which slot is the toughest amongst the 3 as per the past year trends. I don't think we can really figure out which slot is the toughest before the examination actually happens. But one thing that is very clear is slot 1 people, because they are in for a surprise, they don't really know whether the paper is tough or easy. Normally, people in slot 1 tend to underperform. So I think that is the element of surprise is definitely an issue for people in slot 1. Please do like this stream, guys. Good evening, Shwetlana. Samad is saying, should we expect any changes in the pattern? Nobody knows. But in the last 3-4 years, there have been minor changes in verbal, especially in the verbal ability section, not in the RCs. But I would not expect a lot of changes this year. Maybe you can expect some changes in the verbal ability section. I think last year they introduced para insertions. I think 1 or 2 years earlier they introduced this pick the odd one out, or which out of context sentences. So small changes like that can happen, but overall I don't think there will be a lot of differences. Samad is saying he's in slot 1, can he expect any changes? See, the issue is, if the paper is easy, also that is a change. If the quant section is easier, people might be going in with the mindset that it will be difficult. So if it is easy also, it is possible that some people underperform. So if it is difficult also, I think people will underperform. So any change from what is expected will mean that some people underperform. That I think is the biggest challenge with respect to slot 1. By the time slot 2 comes, most of this information is basically percolated through. So people know what to anticipate. That is the only challenge for slot 1 people, and it is a big challenge. It is not a small challenge. Mukesh, I'll answer your question in just a few minutes. So in this question, we are given 2 curves. The first curve is y is log of x, and the second curve is y is x to the power minus 1, which is basically y is equal to 1 by x. We are told that they are drawn on the xy plane, and how many times do they intersect for values of x greater than or equal to 1. In general, I would recommend you to know how the graphs of certain functions actually exist. You should know how the graphs of y is equal to x is. You should know how is y is equal to x square. You should know how the graph y is equal to x cube is. You should also know how y is equal to 1 by x and y is equal to log x. I think these are the important functions. If you know this, I think that should be okay. One small addition would be y is equal to minus x, which is basically x plus y is equal to 0. For you to figure out how these graphs actually look, you can go to Wolfram Alpha. There is Wolfram Alpha, just figure it out. I don't know the exact website, but if you Google it, you'll get it. Go there, and if you type this equation, you'll get how the graph actually looks. I think you should have a decent idea of how these graphs look. That is the reason I actually introduced this question. So for you to draw y is equal to log of x, the way I would draw it is, first draw the y-axis and then draw the x-axis. Then figure out, we are only looking for x is greater than or equal to 1. So x is 1 over here. At this point, what is the value of y, which is log of x? That will be equal to log of 1, which is equal to 0. This would imply that this is where the log function is. And log function typically is looking like this. It will keep going up. It will continue to keep going up as x is increasing, but it will not be exponential. It will not actually go this way. This is something like y is equal to x square or y is equal to x cube. This is how y is equal to log x is. So this graph is how y is equal to log x is. In addition to this, like I mentioned earlier, I want you to go through how the graphs of these also look. Now the second one is y is equal to 1 by x. When x is equal to 1, where is y is equal to 1 by x? This will be equal to 1 by 1, which is equal to 1. So this will be over here. And as x is increasing, 1 by x continues to decrease. It will come close to 0, but it will never touch 0. So it will be something like this. This is how y is equal to 1 by x is. Both of them will intersect at exactly 1 point. So the correct answer for this question is 1s. Like I mentioned earlier, I would recommend you to know at least roughly how the graphs of y is equal to minus x is, which is x plus y is equal to some constant k. It will basically be a straight line with a negative slope, something like this. You should know how y is equal to x is, which is essentially x minus y is equal to some constant number k. It will be a line like this. You should know how y is equal to x square looks like. It will be something like this. You should know how y is equal to x cube is. It will be similar to y is equal to x square, but I think when it is negative, it will be something like this. You should know how y is equal to 1 by x is. We drew it. This is basically y is equal to 1 by x. and you should know how is y is equal to log x. If you know how these functions actually look, how these graphs look, it need not be to scale, but if you know how they actually look, you'll be able to answer these kind of questions. Let us look at the next question. In the meantime, we got some good questions in the chat. Let me look at the chat. Mukesh says, hi sir, how to maintain consistency in DLR scores? Very good question. I think it is a very meaningful question to look at in the last 16 days to CAT. What I would tell you is very simple. In these last 3 weeks or so, please download the previous year's papers and try to answer them. Because if you figure out that there is at least a certain types of sets which are asked commonly. So at least the commonly asked questions, commonly asked types of sets, you should know how to answer them. We have made a video on the commonly asked LRDS sets. We have uploaded it on YouTube maybe just 1 week back. Watch that video, you will get a good sense of what are the kind of LRDS that are often asked. If you know how these kind of LRDS can be solved, out of the 4 LRDS that will be asked in the examination, I would expect at least 2 sets to be from commonly asked type of LRDS sets, like say arrangements or roots and networks or games and tournaments. So at least the commonly asked ones, if you are very comfortable with them, you will get at least 1 set correct. That is how I think you should maintain the LRDI consistency. At least the commonly asked ones you should be comfortable answering. Satish Kumar said, okay, another good question, sir, how to improve accuracy in VRC? I think if you have a good habit of reading regularly, your accuracy in VRC will definitely improve. Now, you can tell me that, okay, there are only 3 weeks left, what can I do? But I would ask you the question back. When you have 3 weeks left, I think this is the best thing that you can do, where every day, maybe read 3 or 4 articles from the internet, go back and download, or actually you can go to the website that we have recently started, which is daily articles or articles you have to read every day. We'll post the link for that. Go to that page, and whenever we are posting an article, every day we are posting 3 or 4 articles, read them, and that will help you improve your comprehension skills, which will translate into better accuracy in VRC. Scope is saying, if you're in later slot, should we check out the analysis of slot 1 to get a gist of pattern and difficult or completely ignore it? I think it is not a good idea to completely ignore it, because psychologically it will be at the back of your mind. Psychologically, you know that many of the people in your slot would be looking at the paper pattern and all of it, and it is going to eat your brain. It won't happen that you can be like sthita prajna, so to say, where you are not worried about how the paper will be. None of us is sthita prajna, so it is, I don't think it is a smart thing to actually try to fight it. Figure out, but don't get obsessed about it. Don't get panicky. Don't have any anxiety that, okay, if somebody says a particular section is very difficult, don't start getting worked up. It is okay. It is just an information which I think if you have it, you should ideally calm down. Okay, let us answer this question. In this question, again, a very useful question. In this question, we are told that P, Q, and R are 3 non-negative integers such that P plus Q plus R is 10. We are required to calculate the maximum value of PQ plus QR plus PR plus PQR. I'll first answer how you can answer this kind of a question using a small trick. The issue with small tricks is that sometimes they are not, the accuracy will not be very high. You can be prone to be making mistakes, but in general, normally it will work. I think 90% of the time it will work without you really knowing why it actually works. So in this kind of a question, when you are given P plus Q plus R is equal to 10, or you are given some number or some expression which is symmetrical in P, Q, and R. Here we are essentially told P plus Q plus R is 10. We are not, for example, told 2P plus Q plus R is equal to 10. Because this expression is not symmetrical in P, Q, and R. It is symmetrical in Q and R, but it is not symmetrical in P because the coefficient of P is not equal to the coefficient of Q and the coefficient of R. But in general, in CAT, mostly you will be given symmetrical expressions like this one, which is P plus Q plus R is 10. And you are asked to calculate the maximum value of another expression which is symmetrical in P, Q, and R. Again, you are told PQ plus QR plus PR plus PQR. This also is symmetrical in PQ plus QR plus PR plus PQR. That is, if you are interchanging P, Q, and R, the expression will not change. In this kind of a question, the answer will mostly happen when P is equal to Q is equal to R. But over here, if you put P is equal to Q is equal to R, you are going to get P is equal to Q is equal to R is equal to 10 by 3, which is not an integer. In that kind of a situation, try to bring P, Q, and R to be as close to each other as possible. That is, you can make P to be equal to 3, Q to be equal to 3, and R to be equal to 4. Just substitute it, that will be the maximum value, which in this particular case will be 3 into 3, which is 9, plus Q into 4 is 12, plus 3 into 4 is 12, plus P into Q into R is 3 into 3 into 4, which is 36. This will total up to 69. So the answer will be option C, This is basically the shortcut, which like I mentioned to you earlier, will be accurate most of the time, but not always. So for you to actually understand why this is the case, look at P plus Q plus R. This is equal to 10. So the value of P plus Q plus R whole square is equal to 100, which is P square plus Q square plus R square plus 2 times PQ plus QR plus PR. This is equal to 100. Now what we know is that P square plus Q square plus R square is always greater than or equal to PQ plus PR plus QR. This one. Why is that the case? Because P square plus Q square divided by 2 is greater than or equal to PQ. This is the arithmetic mean is greater than or equal to geometric mean. Similarly, Q square plus R square divided by 2 is greater than or equal to QR. Similarly, P square plus R square divided by 2 is greater than or equal to PR. All of this is just arithmetic mean is greater than or equal to geometric mean. If you add these three inequalities, you are essentially going to get P square plus Q square plus R square is greater than or equal to PQ plus PR plus QR. And the equality will occur when P is equal to Q is equal to R. Or another way to look at it is PQ plus QR plus PR will come as close to P square plus Q square plus R square as possible when all three of them are close to each other. Similarly, this would basically imply that the maximum value, because P square plus Q square plus R square plus 2 times PQ plus QR plus PR is equal to 100, and P square plus Q square plus R square is greater than or equal to PQ plus PR plus QR. So 3 times PQ plus QR plus PR is less than or equal to 100. And the maximum value of PQ plus QR plus PR is 100 divided by 3, which will happen when P is equal to Q is equal to R. But again, we can't have P is equal to Q is equal to R because that will be 10 by 3. So the maximum value of PQ plus QR plus PR again will occur when P, Q and R are as close to each other as possible, which will again be 3, 3 and 4. Using a similar one, we can actually say that P, Q, R, the product also will be close only when P, Q and R are close to each other as possible. We can just use the arithmetic mean is greater than or equal to geometric mean, which is P plus Q plus R divided by 3 is greater than or equal to PQR to the power 1 by 3. This is arithmetic mean is greater than or equal to geometric mean. So again, the maximum value of PQR to the power 1 by 3 is 10 by 3, which is P plus Q plus R. But again, if you're trying to maximize it, if you're trying to maximize PQR, the product, you have to make P, Q and R to be as close to each other as possible. Again, all of this proof is not really needed. Remember one thing, whenever you're given a expression which is symmetrical in P, Q and R, and you're asked to calculate either the maximum value or the minimum value of another expression which is again symmetrical in P, Q and R, just make all of them to be equal. If you're making all of them to be equal and you're not getting a valid answer, like in this case they won't be integers, then make them to be as close to each other as possible. So anyway, the answer for this question is 69. So the correct answer will be option C. Let us look at the next question. Guys, please do like the stream. Nitin Pawan Kumar is saying, sir, what is the best way to spend the last 2 weeks? How should we go about this preparation in the final days? What I would tell you is very simple. From November 6th to say November 20th, today is 6th, right? In these 2 weeks, try to take 4-5 mocks. And after November 20th, don't take any mocks. Take mocks, and in the meantime, between 2 mocks, try to solve as many questions as you can. We have actually uploaded 100 most important questions for CAT 2024. That is the series that we make every year. Watch that video. Just pause the question when it comes on your screen and try to answer it. That I think is a very good way of preparing for the last 2 weeks. Sir, how to attempt quant section in actual CAT effectively? When I analyze mocks after I feel like I left easy questions and wasted time in 2-3 questions. One thing that I normally do when I'm taking the examination is ensuring that I'm very ruthless in leaving a question and going to the next one. Because in quant, it happens to me, I'm assuming it will happen to a lot of people. If you're stuck in any question, you go to another question and you come back to the first question after some time, you will be able to answer it quickly. That is what I've noticed. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know why that actually works. My theory is that if I look at a question and I look at another question and I'm solving it also, my brain probably, or some part of my brain is thinking about the first question. And the second time when I come to it, I know exactly how to answer it. So that is why I ensure that I don't waste any time in one question in one go. That is, if I'm looking at a question and after 1 minute, I feel that I made some progress, but it is likely that I'll need another 3-4 minutes to solve it, I'll just ignore it. I'll go to the next one. I'll mark it as review and I'll come to it later. That I think is a strategy which I would recommend all of you to use, because I feel that one of the big issues in quant is you have to get the easy questions correct. Now, if you don't plan your time properly and there are some easy questions at the end, it is likely that you won't actually reach there. You will not be able to read that question. Why do you want to know my slot, man? I already mentioned that, no? I already mentioned what I feel about the slots, and I don't want to address it again. So anybody who is asking it, the answer is simple. I'm not going to tell you. For your own good. If you're really focused, if you're really interested, you can message me. Then I'll tell you. But I don't want to tell it publicly. And it makes no sense. I would recommend you to focus on your CAT preparation for the last 3 weeks. As your well-wisher, I feel that you should be as less distracted as possible. Don't let any negative thoughts come into your head. My score or my slot has absolutely no bearing on your future. Absolutely none. You should spend these last 2-3 weeks in trying to get into the right mindset, into the right outlook. Have a positive outlook, be hungry, be ambitious, and try to do well in the examination. Focus on your preparation. My slot is immaterial, absolutely immaterial. I would just say people who are obsessed about my slot are not doing themselves a favor. I think they're actually going to this negative spiral, which is not good for them. Okay. Here we are told that 2 is less than or equal to modulus of x minus 1 into modulus of y plus 3 is less than or equal to 5. Both x and y are negative integers. Find the number of possible combinations of x and y. Here we are told that x and y, both of them are negative integers. So the value of x minus 1 will be negative because x is negative. So the value of modulus of x minus 1 will be equal to modulus of 1 minus x. What about modulus of y plus 3? Modulus of y plus 3 is modulus of y plus 3. Essentially what I was saying is modulus of x minus 1 is 1 minus x. We can remove the modulus because x is negative. X minus 1 will be negative. So modulus of that will be 1 minus x. But modulus of y plus 3 we can't really say. If y is minus 1, y plus 3 is positive. If y is minus 5, y plus 3 is negative. So the sign of y plus 3 we can't really say. But this is what we are essentially given. We are told that x and y are negative integers. So let x be equal to minus p and y be equal to minus q. Just because it is intuitively easier for us to understand p and q as positive integers. Because x and y are negative integers, p and q will be positive integers. In fact, they will be greater than 0 because x and y are not equal to 0. What is the inequality that we are given? 2 is less than or equal to modulus of x minus 1, like we discussed earlier, is 1 minus x, which is equal to p plus 1 into y plus 3 is 3 minus q is less than or equal to 5. P and q are greater than 0. So now let us look at the possibilities. Either p is equal to 1 or p is equal to 2 or p is equal to 3 or p is equal to 4. These are the 4 possibilities. P cannot be equal to 5 because then 5 plus 1 will be 6 and that will be greater than 5. So that is not possible. P can be either 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. If p is 1, p plus 1 is 2. So 2 is less than or equal to 2 into 3 minus q is less than or equal to 5. Or 3 minus q is less than or equal to 2.5 is greater than or equal to 1. So what are the values that, this is modulus of 3 minus q, sorry. So what are the values that modulus of 3 minus q can take? What we know is that q is a positive integer. So modulus of 3 minus q is either equal to 1 or 2. So 3 minus q is equal to plus or minus 1 or plus or minus 2. So the value q can take is 4 possibilities. Q can be either 2 or 4 or 1 or 5. So there are 4 possibilities in this particular case. What will happen if p is 2? If p is 2, p plus 1 is 3. So 2 is less than or equal to 3 into modulus of 3 minus q is less than or equal to 5. This would essentially imply that there is only one possibility for modulus of 3 minus q that has to equal 1. So if modulus of 3 minus q is equal to 1, 3 minus q is plus or minus 1. So Q is either equal to 2 or 4. There are two cases here. What will happen when P is 3? P plus 1 will be 4. So 2 is less than or equal to 4 into modulus of 3 minus Q is less than or equal to 5. So again, modulus of 3 minus Q is equal to 1. So Q is 2 or 4. When P is 4, again P plus 1 is 5. So 2 is less than or equal to 5 into modulus of 3 minus Q is less than or equal to 5. So again modulus of 3 minus Q has to be equal to 1. So Q is 2 or 4. So the total possibility is there are 4, 2, 2 and 2. So there are 10 cases possible, which is option A. This is not a very easy question. This is not a very simple question. This is a very lengthy question. It is going to take you a decent amount of time to get it correct. But sometimes these kind of questions actually come in the examination where there is no very easy way out. Rahul is saying, sir, considering the time this question consumed, even if you know the concept, is it advisable to answer these kind of questions in the actual exam? I would recommend you to not answer it. Basically, when you look at it first, you don't know whether it is lengthy or not. If I had looked at it in the examination, I would not know whether it is lengthy or not. I would start solving it, but then after 30 seconds or 40 seconds, I would realize that it is actually lengthy. Then all I'm saying is ignore it, go to the next question. And if you have time, then come back to this question. The next time you actually come back to this question, you will be able to answer it much faster. Kshitish Sayaliwal is saying, sometimes he's taking a lot of time to answer questions. Unfortunately, there is no easy way out for that. I would recommend you to just solve and solve and solve. These last 18 days, try to solve as many questions as you can. Solving is the best way to improve your speed. In this question, there are 8,436 steel balls. The radius is 1 centimeter. They are stacked in a pile where there is one ball at the top. There are 3 balls in the second layer. There are 6 balls in the third layer. And so on. 10 in the fourth layer and so on. So, can you see a pattern of 1, 3, 6, 10 and so on? Basically, you will have to figure out that this is the nth term will be equal to n into n plus 1 divided by 2. Because the first term is 1, the second term is 3, which is 2 into 3 divided by 2, which is equal to 3. The third term is 6, which is 3 into 4 divided by 2, which is equal to 6. The next term is 10, and 10 is 4 into 5 divided by 2. So the nth term is t of n into n plus 1 divided by 2. What we are essentially told is 1 into 2 divided by 2 plus 2 into 3 divided by 2 plus 3 into 4 divided by 2 plus 4 into 5 divided by 2 plus dot 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 plus n into n plus 1 divided by 2 is equal to 8436. We are asked to calculate the value of n. To solve this question, you should know two formulas. These are important formulas, so I would want you to remember them. The sum of the first n natural numbers, that is 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus dot 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 till n, is equal to n into n plus 1 divided by 2. Similarly, the sum of the first n squares of natural numbers, that is 1 square plus 2 square plus 3 square plus dot 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 plus n square, is equal to n into n plus 1 into 2n plus 1 divided by 6. Here, this is the expression that is given to us. We can simplify this, or we can essentially multiply the entire equation with 2. So we are given that 1 into 2 plus 2 into 3 plus dot 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 plus n into n plus 1 is equal to 8436 into 2, which is equal to 16872. What is the value of n? This is basically, we are asked to calculate the sum of n square plus n. I'll write a symbol which is sigma. Sigma essentially means that we are calculating the sum of this particular expression, where n is changing from 1 to n. Now this is sum of n square, which is equal to n into n plus 1 into 2n plus 1 by 6, and sum of 1. That is essentially, we are writing 1 into 2 as 1 square plus 1. We are writing 2 into 3 as 2 square plus 2. We will be writing 3 into 4 as 3 square plus 3. Similarly, we are writing n into n plus 1 as n square plus n. This we are summing up. So you can essentially split this into two parts, which is 1 square plus 2 square plus dot 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 plus n square, and 1 plus 2 plus dot 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 till n. This we are told is 16,872. You can simplify this. You can use the formula that I just mentioned, which is the sum of the first n square natural numbers, which is n into n plus 1 into 2n plus 1 divided by 6. And the sum of the first n natural numbers, again I told you the formula, which is n into n plus 1 divided by 2. This is 16872. You can simplify this. You can take n into n plus 1 divided by 2 common. So this is n into n plus 1 divided by 2 into 2n plus 1 plus, here we are taking n into n plus 1 divided by 6 common actually. Then it will be 2n plus 1 plus 3. This is equal to 16872. 2n plus 1 plus 3 is 2n plus 4. You are dividing it by 6. So essentially what we are told is n into n plus 1 into n plus 2 divided by 3 is 16872. We are asked to calculate the value of n. If you can figure out the value of n, that is good. Otherwise, you are given 4 options. Let us try to figure out from the options which of them is true. The first one is 34. Now, if you are figuring out whether 34 into 35 into 36 divided by 3, this will be a multiple of 5, because we have 35 over here. You can calculate what this will be, but you know that this will be a multiple of 5. And the right hand side over here is not a multiple of 5. So it won't be 34. So you can actually cancel off 34. If you're looking at the second one, which is 38, do you think 38 into 39 into 40 divided by 3 will be equal to 16872? It won't be, because again you have a multiple of 5 over here. So this product will be a multiple of 5. Over here we have 16,872, which is not a multiple of 5. So it won't even be 38. You are essentially left with 32 and 36. What about 32? This is 32 into 33 into 34 divided by 3. This is a multiple of 11. So you can again check over here. Do you think 16872 is a multiple of 11? Many of you would know whether a number is a multiple of 11 or not. You just calculate 1 plus 8, that is 9, plus 2 is 11, 6 plus 7 is 13. So the sum of the numbers in the odd places and the sum of the numbers in the even places, they are not matching, they are not equal, or they are not basically differing by a multiple of 11. So this is not a multiple of 11. So it won't even be 32. You can substitute 36. You can use your calculator. You can figure out that 36 into 37 into 38 divided by 3. You are going to get this number, which is 16,872. So the answer for this question is option C, which is 36. This might seem like a question which is lengthy. Having said that, if you are comfortable with these two formulas, if you know these two formulas, I think you should be able to answer this question in 3 to 4 minutes. So this is a question that I would recommend you to answer, especially if you know these formulas. And if you have solved a few questions using this formula, I think you will be able to answer this kind of a question in the examination. Let us look at the next question. Sagar Tolani is saying, sir, after solving a few questions, I feel burnt out. Experience a high level of stress. This is increasing as we are coming closer to CAT Sir, please kindly suggest something. I would recommend you to ensure that you maintain your calm. You have to basically figure out what is the thing that you should do to ensure a good peace of mind. That I think is very important for you, and it is only you who can actually figure it out. I can give you a few tips. You can follow some of these tips. Not all tips will be useful for everyone, but some of the tips will be useful for some people. One thing you can do is you can work out in the evening. Many times people notice, and even I notice, that if you work out, you seem to have more peace, more better mental health. You'll be sleeping better. The second thing is maybe you can read a book. In the evening, if you read a book, you tend to sleep better. So that also will ensure that you are at least getting distracted. Use your phone lesser. Many times I notice that people who use their phone more, they suffer from many mental issues because they're not giving their brain enough time to relax or just think of nothing. So don't use phone. Another thing I would tell you is go to a temple. I go to temples quite often, and I see that when I go to a temple, I come back with more focus. I also seem to find some peace. So if it works for you, you should definitely do it. There are many other things that you can do, but essentially you have to identify that figuring out how to have a good mental space or how to be in a good mental space is important, and only you can actually figure out what you should do to achieve it. In this question, we are told that there was a child who was asked to add the first few natural numbers. And after some time, he stopped and he realized that one number he didn't add, because of which his sum is 575. We are required to calculate what is the number that he missed. Remember the formula for the sum of the first n natural numbers. The sum of the first n natural numbers is 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus ... till n is equal to n into n plus 1 divided by 2. Here, let us assume that the number that he deleted is k, or the number that he forgot to put is k. So the correct answer, the equation is n into n plus 1 divided by 2 minus k is 575. We are required to calculate the value of k. To do that, let us first figure out what is the value of n. So we are looking for a number n such that the sum of the first n natural numbers has to be definitely greater than 575. He is getting 575 even after not inputting a number k. So what is the value of n? We can use trial and error to figure out the value of n. Let us assume n is equal to 20. Then 20 into 21 divided by 2 is equal to 210. This is not the case. Let us assume that n is equal to 30. If n is 30, 30 into 31 divided by 2 is, this is 15, which is 465. So clearly we are closer now to 575. So let us input n is equal to 35. If n is 35, what is the sum of the first 35 natural numbers? That will be 35 into 36 divided by 2. This is 18. 35 into 18 is equal to 70 into 9, which is 630. So this seems likely. So let us assume n is 35. If n is 35, n into n plus 1 divided by 2 is 630 minus k is 575. So what is the value of k? K is 630 minus 575, which is equal to 55. But we assume that n is 35. So if you have written the first 35 natural numbers on the board, there is no way that the number that you forgot to enter is 55, because k has to be less than n. K cannot be 55 when you have only written the first 35 natural numbers. So n is not 35. So now let us look at n is equal to 34. So the sum of the first 34 natural numbers will be 34 into 35 divided by 2, which is 35 into 17. This will be equal to 595. So if this is equal to 595, 595 minus k is 575, or the value of k is 20. This is possible. What we are essentially saying is that he wrote the natural numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, dot, 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 18, 19. He forgot to put 20. He wrote 21, 22, dot, 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 till 34. The sum of these numbers is 575. How did we calculate it? We calculated by assuming that suppose he wrote even 20. Then the sum of the first 34 natural numbers has to be 595. And the one number that he missed out, that will be the difference between 595 and 575, which in this particular case will be 20. So the number that he missed out is 20. So the answer for this question is option D. Let us look at the next question. Yes, Aviral, that is good. YL is saying, sir, I'm a working professional, how to revise in the last 20 days. In the last 20 days, I would recommend you to solve as many questions as you can. That is very important. If you're looking to quickly revise the entire portion, definitely check out the CAT revision playlist that we have. They'll be very useful for you. Mayank is saying if we take 33, then the missing number is 14. I don't think that will be true, Mayank, because what is the sum of the first 33 natural numbers? It is 33 into 34 divided by 2, which is 33 into 17. What is 33 into 17? This is basically 34 into, 51 into 11, which is 561. Now, if you have written the first 33 natural numbers, and suppose you missed out one number, the sum you have to get is 561 minus k. If this is equal to 575, the value of k is equal to minus 14. It won't be equal to 14. So the value of n cannot be 33. Here we are told that there is a Fibonacci sequence where from the third term onwards, each term in the sequence is the sum of the previous two terms. If the difference between the squares of the 7th and the 6th term of the sequence is 517, what is the 10th term of this sequence? Let us assume that the first term is S1, the second term is S2. So the third term, which is the sum of these two, will be S1 plus S2. The fourth term is the sum of the second and the third one, which is S1 plus 2S2. The fifth one is the sum of the third and the fourth, which is 2S1 plus 3S2. The next one will be the sum of the fourth and the fifth, which is 3S1 plus 5S2. This is first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. The seventh one will be the sum of these two, which is 5S1 plus 8S2. We are told that the square of the seventh one minus the square of the sixth one is equal to 517. What is the value of y square minus x square? This is equal to y plus x into y minus x. So the square of this one minus the square of this one is basically equal to the product of their sum and the product of their difference. What is the sum? The sum of these two is 8s1 plus 13s2. What is the difference of these two? That will be 2s1 plus 3s2. This we are told is 517. Now what is 517? If you are trying to write 517 as a product of two numbers, 517 is 47 into 11. This is the only way in which you can express 517 as a product of two numbers, because 517 has only four factors. They are 1, 11, 47 and 517. So this has to equal 11 and this has to equal 47. That is 2s1 plus 3s2 is equal to 11 and 8s1 plus 13s2 is equal to 47. You multiply the first one with 4, you are going to get 8s1 plus 12s2 is equal to 44, or the value of s2 is equal to 3. And what is the value of s1? 3s2 will be 9, 11 minus 9 is 2, that will be the value of 2s1, so s1 is equal to 1. So the sequence essentially looks like this. It is 1, 3, 4, the next one will be sum of 3 and 4, which is 7. The next one will be the sum of 4 and 7, which is 11. The next one will be 11 plus 7, which is 18. Next one will be 18 plus 11, which is 29. This is the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. The next one will be the sum of 18 and 29, which is 47. This is the eighth one. Next one will be 29 plus 47, which is 76. And the next one is 47 plus 76, which is 123. So the answer for this question is 123. Again, this is a lengthy question. This is not an easy question. This is not a question that can be solved in 1 or 2 minutes. It is going to take time. But remember that all the 11 questions that I picked for this are actually lengthy questions. I just felt that even difficult questions, if we answer, we will be more confident on the day of the examination. It is very easy to give very simple questions, but I wanted to give slightly medium to hard questions in this session. Guys, please do like the stream. We have more than 100 people who are watching this stream live. We have 162 people who are watching this stream live. Please do like it. I want to get to at least 200 likes before the stream ends. We'll have around 10 questions, Sindhu. Sindhu is asking how many questions are there. Kshitij is saying, sir, I'm watching your videos and doing practice regularly, but few times I get blacked out even after knowing the question and couldn't answer it. Any tip? What I would tell you is something that one of the toppers of last year's CAT, I forgot his name, but he went to IIM Ahmedabad. A very smart guy. He was from Kerala, that much I remember. What he mentioned is when I was interviewing him, he finally got 99.84 in the actual examination. And he told me that in the mocks he was scoring around 97 to 98. And he told me his performance peaked in the examination. And he told me I clearly outperformed on the day of the examination. And I asked him, how did you do that? So what he told me was that in the last few days to CAT, he used to take mocks. But before taking a mock, he would sit in front of the laptop without anything for like say 10 to 15 minutes. He would just try to get into that exam zone. So for 10 minutes, he was just sitting in front of the laptop. He's not doing anything. He's just calming down. He's trying to picture himself being in the examination, and then he would start the mock. So on the day of the examination, when that happened, when he was actually sitting in front of the laptop to take the examination, he was just feeling that this is just another mock. So he was able to ensure that his anxiety or his panic was very low, and he was able to deliver peak performance. I thought that was actually a very smart thing, a very mature thing. So try to do something like that, where try to just sit in front of a computer for say 10-15 minutes before you take a mock or a sectional. Okay, in this question we are told that x satisfies an inequality which is modulus of x minus 1 plus modulus of x minus 2 plus modulus of x minus 3 is greater than or equal to 6. We are required to calculate the interval in which x will lie. Here we are given a modulus which clearly has three roots. The inflection points, so to say, are when x is 1 or x is 2 or x is 3. So we'll have to consider all the cases. The first case is x is less than 1. The next case is if x lies between 1 and 2. The next case is if x lies between 2 and 3. And the next case is when x is greater than 3. If x is greater than 3, all of these modulus will be positive. If x is greater than 3, modulus of x minus 1 is x minus 1. Modulus of x minus 2 is x minus 2. Modulus of x minus 3 is x minus 3. This we are told is greater than or equal to 6. Or if you add all of it, we are going to get 3x minus 6 is greater than or equal to 6, or 3x is greater than or equal to 12, or x is greater than or equal to 4. So in the interval when x is greater than 3, we want x to be greater than or equal to 4. Let us look at the second interval where x is lying between 2 and 3. Modulus of x minus 1 will be x minus 1 because x is greater than 2. Modulus of x minus 2 will be x minus 2 because again x is greater than 2. But now modulus of x minus 3 will be 3 minus 6 because x is lying between 2 and 3, something like say x is 2.5. So x minus 3 will be a negative number. So the modulus of x minus 3 will be 3 minus 6. This we want to be greater than or equal to 6. If we are adding this, what we are essentially getting is this x gets cancelled, this one gets cancelled. We want x to be greater than or equal to 6. But this is not possible because in this interval x is lying between 2 and 3. So if x is lying between 2 and 3, x cannot be greater than or equal to 6. Let us look at the next interval. If x is lying between 1 and 2, modulus of x minus 1 will be x minus 1. Modulus of x minus 2 will be 2 minus 6 because x is lying between 1 and 2, x is less than 2. So modulus of x minus 2 is 2 minus 6 plus modulus of x minus 3 will be 3 minus 6. This is greater than or equal to 6. We can cancel this and this. We are essentially left with 4 minus x is greater than or equal to 6, or the value of x is less than or equal to minus 2. This also is not possible because we want x to lie between 1 and 2. We don't want x to be less than minus 2, less than or equal to. Let us look at the last case where x is less than 1. In this case, all the modulus will be negative. That is, modulus of x minus 1 will be 1 minus x. Modulus of x minus 2 is 2 minus x. Modulus of x minus 3 is 3 minus 6. We want this to be greater than or equal to 6. Or we want 6 minus 3x to be greater than or equal to 6. Or we want x to be less than or equal to 0. So in the interval where x is less than 1, we want x to be less than or equal to 0. This is valid. So either x is less than or equal to 0 or x is greater than or equal to 4. So the correct answer is option B. Let us look at the next question. One person has gotten all the 7 questions correct. Badal Kumar Jana. Very well done. I think this is a question which is easy. This is a question I think you should definitely get correct. That is why I always tell people that you should be comfortable with the basics of all the topics, because many times people are worried about logarithms. So they look at this question and then not attempt it. But this is actually not a very difficult question, especially in comparison to the other questions in this particular test. This I think is an easy question which you should try to get correct. Kush is saying, sir, I'm a PW candidate and I'm still not able to view my admit card. Is this due to the reservation category? That I'm not so sure, man. I'm not so sure, but don't worry about the admit card issue. Within a few days, you will be able to download it. That should not be an issue. Guys, please do like the stream. We have 126 likes. We have more than 170 people who are watching the stream live. Let us try to get to 200 likes. Harsh Jain is saying, sir, give NMAT today 238, Quant 75, Logic 86, LS 77. What are my chances? I think that's a good score. Right now, focus on CAT. You have 3 weeks left, so focus on it. NMAT is over. You have already taken it, so don't worry about your score. Sir, can previous question be done by removing modulus in one case, positive, and second case negative, getting the same answer? I think you can do it in multiple ways. One other way is if you're looking at the options, you can try to put some numbers and try to see if it is working. That also can be done. Like for example, over here, if you have figured out that x has to be greater than 4 by just solving the last case, you can look at the options and then you can figure out that this is not true, this is not true. So it has to be either none of the above or option B. So even eliminating the options can be done. Somebody is asking, do you think quant's difficulty will decrease this year as last year was an anomaly? I would think so. Most likely if I have to, I don't know, nobody knows whether it will be easy or difficult. But if I have to venture a guess, I think it will be easier than last year. Because last year was very clearly an anomaly. Nobody was prepared for it. Okay, in this question we are told that log of 3 to the power x minus 2 and log of 3 to the power x plus 4 are in an arithmetic progression. What is the value of x? Let us assume that 3 to the power x is a number p. So what we are essentially told is log of 3 comma log of p minus 2 and log of p plus 4, they are in an arithmetic progression. If they are in an arithmetic progression, log of 3 plus log of p plus 4 is 2 times log of p minus 2, or 3 into p plus 4 is equal to p minus 2 whole square, or 3p plus 12 is equal to p square minus 4p plus 4, or the quadratic equation we are going to get is p square minus 7p minus 8 is equal to 0. So p minus 8 into p plus 1 is equal to 0. So the value of p is either 8 or p is equal to minus 1. P cannot be equal to minus 1 because we want log of p minus 2 to be defined. So p has to be greater than 2 because a logarithm is not defined for negative numbers. So p is not equal to minus 1. So the value of p is 2. That is 3 to the power x is equal to 8. Or the value of x is log of 8 to the base 3, which is option B. Let us look at the next question. Yes, Aditya, it is okay to upload it. Kunal Gupta is saying, sir, remember these lectures last year? They were very helpful. Thank you so much, sir. Thanks a lot for the kind words, Kunal. Please do like the stream, guys. Let us try to get to 200 likes before the stream ends. The next question also is related to this. So I'll post the next question also and I'll explain both of them together. This is the last question for today. Guys, we have 175 people who are watching this stream live. Please do like the stream, guys. Just stick to your routine, Shreyat. If you are getting 70 marks, I think you are very close to getting 99%. Because last year, I think 99% was around 76 marks. So 70 marks is not very far away from 76. So just continue your routine and try to answer more and more questions. Okay, let us answer this question, guys. This and the earlier question are related. So let me answer this. Here we are told that there are two passengers, Raja and Praja. Both of them have 60 kgs of luggage between them. Let us assume that Raja has A luggage and Praja has B kgs luggage. So A plus B, which is the total luggage with them, is 60. Now we don't know what is the free limit. The limit for free baggage, we don't know. Let us assume that that is L. And per extra kg of the luggage, let us assume that the cost per kg is P. So what is the amount of money that Raja has to pay? Raja will have to pay, the extra he is carrying is A minus L. So P into A minus L is what Raja has to pay. How much will Praja have to pay? Praja will have to pay, the extra for him is B minus L. And per kg he has to pay B. What we are told is that P into A minus L is 1200. And P into B minus L is 2400. This is what is told to us. And if both of them, if only one person is carrying both the luggage, the total luggage he would be carrying is A plus B, which is equal to 60. Because A plus B, which is the total luggage, is 60. The extra luggage would be 60 minus L. And the price per kg is P. So P into 60 minus L is 5400. This is one equation. This is another equation. This is another equation. And this is another equation. We have four variables A, B, P and L. We have to calculate them. To do that, let us first add both of these equations. We are going to get P into A plus B minus 2L is equal to 3600. A plus B is 60. So P into 60 minus 2L is equal to 3600. P into 60 minus L is equal to 5400. You can divide one by the other. We are going to get 60 minus 2L divided by 60 minus L is equal to 2 by 3, which is 3600 divided by 5400. Or 30 minus L divided by 60 minus L is equal to 1 by 3. You can cross multiply. You are going to get 90 minus 3L is equal to 60 minus L, or the value of L is 15 kgs. So the free limit is 15 kgs. You can use it in anywhere. Over here, if you substitute it, you can calculate the value of P. So P into 60 minus L is 45 is equal to 5400, or the value of P is 120. So the price is 120 rupees you have to pay per kg. You can substitute it in any one of them. For example, if you are substituting it over here, we are going to get B minus L is equal to 2400 divided by 120, which is 20. L is 15 kgs. So the value of B is 35 kgs. So we are asked to calculate what is the free luggage that is allowed. That will be 15 kgs. We are also asked earlier what is the weight of Praja's luggage, which is 35 kgs. Okay guys, that is it for today. Please do like the stream. I hope this session was useful for you. We'll be doing a lot of streams from now on till the actual examination. So please do subscribe to our channel. Mostly it will be at 8 p.m. We try to do these revision videos as often as we can. They'll be very useful for you. So definitely do subscribe to our channel.